The Sustainable Development 09 conference is looking at protecting energy sources and food supplies, as well as how best to tackle climate change. The meeting heard that with the current global economic pressures, the goals of sustainable development are being severely tested, but it will also be a period of enormous opportunity.
I guess the solution that we are looking for is to make sure that we emerge from our current economic problem in a way that heads us firmly towards a more sustainable future. That seems to me is what the goal is all about. And that's what we're trying to do in the UK. We are putting the building blocks together. 4 years ago this month, we launched Securing the Future, the UK Sustainable Development Strategy. I believe its vision and principles are the same and valid now as they were then. And we have made considerable progress. 250 commitments have been delivered. And we've gone beyond that. When I got this job last October, one of the first things I had to do was to ask the House of Lords to accept the changes that have been made to go towards for an 80% GHG emission reduction by 2050, unique in the world. And following on from that, we are working very hard on carbon budgets, which will have, I believe, a huge impact, not only in terms of carbon reduction over the next 10, 20 years, but also on the focus of government departments who will have to accept responsibility for their sectors and the carbon emissions within that sector, which will, I think, have a very great impact on everyone in this room.
Lord Hunt said the British government accepted climate change was a real threat and was doing everything to combat it.
Climate change is inevitable. We are trying to mitigate its worst impact, but it is inevitable, and we are going to have to adapt to the consequences of a rise in temperature. And one of the most important responsibilities brought into the Climate Change Act was the power given to government to require public authorities to report on how they assess the risks of climate change to their work and what they're doing to meet those risks. And we'll be consulting in the summer, hopefully, on which public authorities we should focus on in the first round and the kind of requirement that we will expect them to look at in producing their reports.
The UK government's chief scientific advisor warned that the world faces big issues of water and food security on top of the problem of climate change.
I think the key thing here is that we've got to recognise that there's a problem. And the reason I raise the food, the water security issues, because they're going to be hitting very early. Climate change is there and a major issue, but we've got to work on these problems in an interrelated way. We talked about biofuels. Biofuels was a reasonable attempt to try to make transport cleaner. Significant problems with the effect that major utilisation of food stocks for biofuels on food security issues. We can't ignore that. We can't ignore water. We can't ignore food or energy demands. And let's think about what it would be. One of the questions we can reasonably ask about is what the world of 2030 would look like if we don't mitigate those things. First of all, demand significantly exceeding supply, the poorest will suffer, prices of food, prices of energy, and water prices will go up. Water in particular is currently a free good. It is, given the urbanisation trends we're seeing, it's unimaginable that water will be free to the poor farmers of the world.
Professor Beddington warns these issues can't be dealt with in isolation. He wants European Commission policymakers to receive the same high level of scientific advice as the new US President Barack Obama.